Hi, everybody. I'm going to read the rest of Chapter 10 from Warriors Don't Cry, starting on page 117 and starting at the bottom. It's right after the line. So, page 117, right here, after the line where it says guard takes over at school. Please remember to hold your books in your hands and sit up nice and tall. Here we go. Guard takes over at school. Arkansas Democrat, Tuesday, October 1st, 1957. I arrived at school Tuesday morning, fully expecting that I would be greeted by the 101st Soldiers and escorted, top of page 118, to the top of the stairs. Instead, we were left at the curb to fend for ourselves. And as we approached the stairs, we were greeted by taunting catcalls and the kind of behavior students had not dared to exhibit in the face of the 101st. "Where are your petty little soldier boys today?" someone cried out. "You N-words ready to die just to be in this school?" asked another. Squeezing our way through the hostile group gathered at the front door, we were blasted by shouts of "N-word, go home. Go back to where you belong." At every turn, we were faced with more taunts and blows. There were no 101st soldiers at their usual posts along the corridors. And then I saw them. Slouching against the wall were members of the Arkansas National Guard, looking on like spectators at a sports event. Certainly not like men sent to guard our safety. I wanted to turn and run away, but I thought about what Danny had said. Warriors survive. I tried to remember his stance, his attitude, and the courage of the 101st on the battlefield. Comparing my tiny challenge with what he must have faced made me feel more confident. I told myself I could handle whatever the segregationists had in store for me, but I underestimated them. Early that morning, a boy began to taunt me as though he had been assigned that task. First, he greeted me in the hall outside my shorthand class and began pelting me with bottle cap openers, the kind with the sharp claw at the end. He was also a master at walking on my heels. He hurt me until I wanted to scream for help. Page 119. Not long before the end of the school day, I entered a dimly lit restroom. The three girls standing near the door seemed to ignore me. Their passive, silent, almost pleasant greeting made me uncomfortable, and the more I thought about their attitude, the more it concerned me. At least when students were treating me harshly, I knew what to expect. Once inside the stall, I was even more alarmed at all the movement. The feet shuffling, the voices whispering. It sounded as though more people were entering the room. "Bombs away!" someone shouted above me. I looked up to see a flaming paper wad coming down on me. Girls were leaning over the top of the stalls on either side of me. Flaming paper floated down and landed on my hair and my shoulders. I jumped up, trying to pull myself together and at the same time ducked the flames and stamped them out. I brushed the singeing ashes away from my face as I frantically grabbed for the door to open it. "Help!" I shouted. "Help!" The door wouldn't open. Someone was holding it, someone strong, perhaps more than one person. I was trapped. "Did you think we were going to let N-words use our toilets? We'll burn you alive, girl!" a voice shouted through the door. "There won't be enough of you left to worry about." I felt the kind of panic that stopped me from thinking clearly. My right arm was singed. The flaming wads of paper were coming at me faster and faster. I could feel my chest muscles tightening. I felt as though I would die at any moment. The more I yelled for help, the more I inhaled smoke, the more I coughed. Page 120. "Please, God, help me," I silently implored. I had to hurry. I might not be able to swat the next one and put it out with my hands. Then what? Would my hair catch fire? I had to stop them. I picked up my books and tossed one upward as hard as I could in a blind aim to hit my attackers. I heard a big thud, then a voice cry out in pain, and several people scuffle about. I tossed another and then another book as fast and as hard as I could. One more of their number cursed at me. I had hit my target. "Let's get out of here," someone shouted as the group hurried out the door. In a flash, I leapt out of the stall, trying to find my things. I decided I wouldn't even bother reporting my problem. I just wanted to go home. I didn't care that I smelled of smoke or that my blouse was singed. Later, when my friends asked what happened, I didn't even bother to explain. The experiment of doing without the 101st had apparently been a fiasco. By the end of the day, more than one of us had heard talk that the 101st had been brought back. Still, despite all our complaints, there were a few students who tried to reach out to us with smiles or offers to sit at our cafeteria tables. Some even accompanied us along the halls. Each of us noticed, however, that those instances of friendship were shrinking rather than growing. There was no doubt that the hardcore troublemakers were increasing their activities, and without the men of the 101st, they increased 100-fold. When we arrived at school on Thursday morning, I noticed right away that there was a different kind of tension, as though everyone was waiting for something awful to happen. Only we didn't know what. We had, page 121, heard rumors of a planned student protest. I could see groups of students standing in the halls instead of in class where they would normally have been. Just before first period, more students began walking out of classes. Rumors about a big event reverberated throughout the school. I could see and feel a new level of restlessness and a deepening sense of hostility. I was on edge, waiting for disaster at any moment, like dynamite or a group attack, or I didn't know what. "They're hanging an N-word just like we're going to hang you," someone muttered. That's when I learned that some of those who walked out had assembled at the vacant lot at 16th and Park, across from the school, where they hanged and burned a straw figure. That demonstration set the tone of the day. Belligerent student protests were firing up the already hostile attitude inside the school. Danny broke the rules by coming closer and talking to me, warning that we had to stay alert no matter what. Near the end of the day, I was walking down a dimly lit hallway, with Danny following, when I spotted a boy coming directly toward me on collision course. I tried to move aside, but he moved with me. I didn't even have time to call for help. The boy flashed a shiny black object in my face. The sudden pain in my eyes was so intense, so sharp, I thought I'd die. It was like nothing I'd ever felt before. I couldn't hear or see or feel anything except that throbbing, searing fire centered in my eyes. I heard myself cry out as I let go of everything to clutch at my face. Someone grabbed me by the ponytail and pulled me along very fast, so fast I didn't have time to resist. The pain of being dragged along by my hair was almost as, page 122, intense as that in my eyes. Hands grabbed my wrists and pried my hands from my face, compelling me to bend over. Then cold liquid was splashed in my eyes. The water felt so good. My God, thank you. The pain was subsiding. "Easy, girl, easy. You're gonna be fine." It was Danny's voice, his hands holding my head and dousing my eyes with water. "I can't see," I whispered. "I can't see." "Hold on, you will." Over and over again the cold water flooded my face. Some of it went into my nose and down the front of my blouse. Bit by bit I could see the sleeve of Danny's uniform, see the water, see the floor beneath us. The awful pain in my eyes had turned into a bearable sting. My eyes felt dry, as though they were a film drawn tight over them. "What was that?" "I don't know," Danny said. "Maybe some kind of alkaline or acid. The few drops that got on your blouse faded the color immediately. Hey, let's get you to the office so we can report this. You gotta get a doctor." "No, no," I protested. "Why not? School's almost over. I want to go home right now. Please, please don't make me." I felt tears. I knew he hated me to cry, but the thought of going to the office made me crazy. I couldn't handle having some hostile clerk telling me I was making mountains out of molehills. "Calm down. You can do what you want, but no, home, right now," I said, cutting Danny off. A short time later, an optometrist examined my eyes and studied the spots on my blouse. He put some kind of soothing substance into my eyes and covered them with eye patches. As I sat there in the dark, I heard him say, "Whoever kept that water going in her eyes saved the quality of her sight. If not, her sight itself. She'll have to wear the patch overnight. She'll have to be medicated for a while. She'll need to wear glasses for all close work. I'd really like to see her wear them all the time. I'll need to see her once a week until we're certain she's all right." Glasses all the time, I thought. No boy wants to date a girl with glasses. Despite the doctor's instructions to wear an eye patch for 24 hours, I had to take it off. I couldn't let the reporters see me with the patch because they would ask questions and make a big deal of it. By the time we got home, it was 7 o'clock, and I wasn't very talkative for the waiting reporters. Once inside, I fell into bed, too exhausted to eat dinner. "Thank you, God," I whispered. "Thank you for saving my eyes. God bless Danny. Always."